Grace and peace. Grace and peace. Rev C here. We are going to continue picking up where we left off a while ago in our Greek class. So, this video, we're just going to look at the nominative and the accusative case. The nominative and the accusative cases.
We have many wonderful translations in English and other modern languages. We have an embarrassing wealth of riches of translation. At the same time, there comes a point, especially for people who are reading the Bible all the time, preparing lessons on this weekly for sermons and Bible studies, where there's a sense of, I want to be closer. I don't want any distance between myself and the words of the apostles and the prophets. It would be, for example, if let's say that you love French literature, and there comes a time after reading Moliere and Camus and Sartre in English where you say, wow, I really want to read these in the original. I'm not content for this layer of language to exist between me and my love. What does reading the Bible in Greek, reading the Greek New Testament, do that you don't get in English? And I thought it might be nice just to pick a short little book of the Bible, the book of Philemon, and just talk about a few differences it makes. First off, there's the difference in seeing the structure of the text. Many times in the Greek language, you may have a Greek sentence that's 3 verses or even 10 verses. And in that original sentence, you'll have a main statement, and then you'll have supporting points. And that structure is clearly visible in the original language. But when that's translated into English, because of the difference of structure in our language, maybe what was originally 1 sentence will become 3. And so you'll see an obscuring. It's just more difficult to see that original structure. Even here in the book of Philemon in verse 5, there's this beautiful chiasm, this A, B, B, A structure that's very difficult to bring across in English translation. There's the second issue, is the issue of clarity. An example of this in verse 6 of Philemon. When I was in college, my preferred Bible was the NIV 1984, and I still love the 1984 NIV. And verse 6 in the NIV 84 says, I pray you may be active in the sharing of your faith so that you would have a knowledge of every good thing we have in Christ. Now, if you're an evangelical Christian and you hear about sharing your faith, the first thing you think about is evangelism. You say, I need to be sharing my faith. But as I'm looking at the Greek text, the word there is koinonia, right? The word koinonia, fellowship, partnership, never has to do with evangelism. It's always about partnering or sharing or living with Christians in the community that you're in. And of course, the book of Philemon is about Philemon, this slave owner, and Paul sending Onesimus, his runaway slave, back to him, and then what it means for Philemon and Onesimus to be brothers in the same Christian community. That's why the NIV 2011 has updated and changed the wording to make it partnership, because clearly there was originally some potential for misunderstanding there. So there's just this beauty, this clarity, this profundity, this nuancing that comes from reading the text in the Greek. And You can find people who tell you it's not worth learning to read the Bible in Greek. But I would say, can you find someone who's learned to read the Bible in Greek who then will tell you it's not worth the time? That would be my challenge to you. I'm not saying that everyone has to learn Greek and Hebrew by any means. We have wonderful, reliable translations. But maybe when you're hearing this, you're thinking, I've always wanted to learn to read the Greek New Testament. The good news is it's never been easier to do that. With the resources we have now, with online education, wherever you are in the world, you can learn to read the Greek New Testament. I'm grateful to be at a seminary where we have a robust and rigorous education, both on campus and online. We have students, I believe, in over 60 countries around the world, and we offer Greek and Hebrew so that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever stage of life you're in, whether you're 20 years old or 80 years old, if you have that hunger in you, you say, I love reading the Bible in English, but there's just I just feel like I don't want any distance between me and the words of the apostles and prophets.
All right. Let's get into, it is important to, is it essential to read Greek? No. Is it helpful? Yes. The benefits are amazing in that. So let's look at nouns in the nominative and the accusative case. Nominative and accusative cases. So the noun, we have to remember nouns name person, place, or thing. Nouns name person, place, or thing. Let's go. So nouns are persons, place, or things in English and in Greek. In English and in Greek. So each Greek noun carries information about its meaning and its function in the context. Because remember, Greek is a very inflected language, it relies on inflection. Inflection just means change. You change the endings. Inflection just means change. So we're changing. So Greek nouns by nature carry more information than the English nouns. So when we break this apart, remember we're going to look at Greek words have a stem and an ending. Greek words have a stem and an ending. So the ending of the noun is going to tell you three pieces of information. You're going to get the case. You're going to get number, singular or plural. And you're going to get gender, which is just a way to how a word acts. It's just patterns. So don't let that get you. So a case. What is a case? Case tells you how a noun functions in the sentence. It tells you its job. What is it doing in the sentence? What is this word doing in the sentence? The stem of the word is going to give you the meaning, the lexical meaning in the word. It's going to give you that lexical meaning in the word. So if we look at Lego, I say, Lego, to say or to speak. This Omicron, this Omega here, this is your ending. This leg is your root or your stem. The root or the stem. So, noun endings. The endings of the noun is going to tell you three things: case, number, gender. And we're going to get into that. So, what do we mean by case? Again, case tells you the noun's relationship to the verb. To the verb. So is it doing the action? Is it receiving the action? That is what the noun, the case, that is what is going to tell us there. So that's important. Now, let's say we go to, let's look at this in a practical way. Practically, let's go to, so if we go to John 1:1, very familiar passage in John 1:1. So in John 1:1, NRK ein ha logos. Logos here is the subject of this clause, of this sentence. How do we know? Because of the os ending. This lets us know this is nominative, masculine, singular. Case, gender, number. Nominative, masculine, singular. Lets me know this is in the nominative, lets me know this is the subject of the sentence. Lets me know this is the subject.